Endgames are very difficult, but very important. I'll play a 2030 rated opponent, someone 200 points above me, and the game will become a draw very, very quickly. But I'll notice that I have the bishop for knight advantage and a more active king, and grind a long endgame to a winning position. If you want to know if I actually convert my winning position, you have to watch until the end. Let's first make some puzzles. So what am I seeing here? I am down a rook, but I have a strong pawn, so maybe if like takes and takes, this looks bad, but probably I have to invest in my good pawn. I have to attack the rook, shielding the king. Threaten promotion, he has to sack the rook, and this is obviously completely winning. Easy. I am forked. First thing that I'm seeing is, first of all, I have a checkmating threat. Second of all, I could take here. Oh, but the knight takes. But I think this is a good idea. But then you have to see how do I do it more forcingly. And you have to know the sequence. So the problem is if you do this, you get checked, you have to move, queen check, move. We control it, but still it's unnecessary complications, but you can sack the rook first to make it more forcing, which is a pattern you have to recognize. So we are white playing like this, so black is playing like that, controlling these squares, so I cannot really check. I can give this check, only move, after which I have a check, only move, and then this is mate. I think I calculated that correctly. Yeah, so I'm just looking at checks, calculating, and if I see a checkmate, it's probably the right move. So in the previous game, you saw how me and my opponent didn't really play the most accurate of games, but I sacrificed. Um, did I sacrifice? Yeah, I think I sacrificed against a almost 2000 rated opponent, so I wasn't scared of my higher rated opponent. And I'm against a 2000 again. Oh my days. So I was just going to say, just be confident, and that's instantly put to the test, which I don't really like. I was just trying to give good advice. I don't really want to be challenged on the good advice, to be fair. So playing against a 2000. Let's go. My opponent is thinking a bit long, maybe thinking about how to cancel the game because he will lose E11 elo if he loses. The exchange, I like this one a lot. He goes for the main line. I hope he doesn't go for the long reach system after here, and then H3 because I didn't really make my refutation yet. So this is going to be a long reach system, which would be very annoying. And I really didn't make my refugee. Oh, he goes for a long reach system. Okay, cool. I know this is the best move, but do I really want to play with an isolated pawn? I know that this is also a fine move. I know that this is one of the main lines. Oh, I really don't want to play against my own opening, to be fair. Um, I never saw this move. Maybe I just play the best move. I don't know, I haven't prepared against my own opening yet. Yeah, just let's play the best move and see what we will do. I know a lot of these lines because I made a course on the Lankrit system, which is what White plays. I have yet to make the videos for the course, and only then I'll upload it on probably school. This is not what I recommend. Um, you don't have a threat, so let's now just develop. Probably he's preparing this, but that move doesn't really need preparation, but let's just develop. I'm playing with an isolated pawn, so my plans will always involve pushing the pawn. Um, the best move is always to take, then bishop takes. I could come in with check if queen blocks. I can go here if I want. But then knight d4 maybe. Takes and takes is awesome. If I go here, what if you attack me? I have nothing. If takes, takes, push, take. So that I can check knight blocks. That doesn't really look all too nice. Take, take. This is defended enough so I can prepare the pawn break. Yeah, that looks nice. Takes, bishop takes, defended well. I never thought about bishop here to pin me, but after takes, bishop here, bishop g5, I push my pawn. If takes, takes, I still defend, so that should be great. This is weak though. I didn't think about that. So let's castle first so that there are no weird checks. And now I should try to prepare d4 to get equality. That's a smart move. Controlling this. So this is the one annoying thing. What if I trade a light squared bishop so that after takes and takes, I'm not really threatening anything, but then I could push. What if I put my knight in first so that I can push? I mean, nothing is more natural than putting a knight forward, so let's go for that. I am putting some pressure, which is always nice. Maybe this is an idea. I'm attacking this, I'm attacking that, so I can take with a check. Maybe queen h4 is a threat in these positions. I'm not sure. I am not sure. Bishop e3, take is take. Oh, you snap take that. That's weird in my opinion, no? You're giving me the bishop pair. So do I want the bishop pair with a pawn here or not? If I take, take, take... I don't really have infiltration yet, but... Am I threatening this? Because after pawn takes, I still can't infiltrate because of the knight. But I mean, this feels correct, just trying this. And if knight develops, I can push the pawn. You have to bishop take, 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 and then I can rook takes, but this is hanging. So if bishop takes... I mean, I don't know, this looks all the same. Maybe this is still an ID. I feel like that's a blunder. Can I not attack your rook? You have to leave and this is a fork? I'm downtime, but here, Queen h4, how do you defend both your bishop and your pawn? You have to come in here. Is that just fine? And what's next? That's it, that's just fine. Disgusting. Here, there. If I take, check, you push or block. I mean, I don't know, let's just maintain my bishop. I don't want to lose it. After this, you can move with an attack on my bishop, which I don't actually like. So maybe I have to go for something a bit slower. Like what? Queen here? Rook goes over here, my queen can come in here. If you block, I can take. Your rook cannot enter. Yeah, that looks great. So after this, now this is basically a fork, and I can challenge you on the open file. And if I can take... So takes, rook takes, I cannot take because of take. Annoying, annoying. So take, rook take, bishop retreats to prepare this push. Can I put a rook in here? You take, I take with a check. You have to take back, I can take back. And I didn't gain anything. I have a feeling that there should be a trick here, but I'm not really finding it. If this, after bishop take, pawn take, queen take, I just have a bishop for a knight. So push, take. You have to defend this, but not really. Because after takes... Oh, rook cannot enter here. Oh, maybe this is my move. But after push, take, rook e7. Rook e7, queen can take. Knight can move attacking my bishop, but that should be fine. Rook cannot go to b1, and I can challenge you. I think that is my best course of action. And after we trade everything, I can take a pawn, and I just have a bishop for knight advantage. I think you have to trade, yes. And now, how do you defend? You can not do that. Oh, is that smart? Take is take. Fair enough. Fair enough. I didn't see that. And if I go here, rook attacks me. I have to go. You can attack me again. I have to leave. Okay, that's very annoying. Fair enough. So I have to go maybe here, but is this then a problem? No, I can defend everything. So probably move my queen on a light square so that if you try to exploit the pin, I can just move. You can infiltrate, but this is covered, so I can just challenge you. And I'll just have a slightly worse position, but it should be very holdable. And then I'll go into a endgame, being up a bishop for a knight, which is borderline nothing. But we'll see, maybe my opponent gives me something, and the draw is already up 3. So I'm preparing some good stuff. If the queen moves for some reason, but he should just develop a piece, threaten this. I can push a pawn to deactivate his rook and knight, but then you'll infiltrate here, which is maybe also annoying. Maybe I want my weaknesses to be on light squares for now. Yeah, so I have to think. If I do this, takes, you attack my bishop, I can come in here, you can go, or I'll just challenge you on the file. You can still go for this, so that after takes, if I take, you can take. There's no tricks. So after I challenge you, rook in here, take, and I don't have a trick. I can try to develop, but that doesn't do much. If I go here, are you forced to take, rook can come in. If I challenge you, I think that's losing because I can't stop this attacking. So probably I have to challenge you. Trading looks dumb, but I guess it's possible. And I have a bishop for a knight, but you have a bit more activity. And there is still this weird pin. And the pin can become very annoying. I mean, I can always do this. So there shouldn't be a problem, but after takes, knight takes, I go in here, so that takes and takes. You can infiltrate, but I defend everything, I attack your knight, you go, I can infiltrate. If I do this instantly, take, I don't know. I assume this is better. You cannot go for a queen takes because I'll do this. And that should be bad. Push. Mm, I don't know. I could do this, but then takes. So I feel like I should take. And after you take back, I trade queens, and I'll have a little bit less activity. But it should be fine. After a queen takes, I think there is this. Okay, you go for that. So this is a forced queen trait, I assume. And after takes and takes, I defend my weaknesses. You can infiltrate. I'll activate. And I mean, there's nothing. I have a bishop for a knight in a slightly more passive position. Because you can infiltrate and my rook is not of the same quality, but this should be a draw, always. We just didn't make chances. I made a little bit of chances, but my opponent was very trade happy and played way too fast, I think. I mean, an endgame is still an endgame. I can do as if I drew the position already, so rook e7, only move that really makes a bit of sense. I can, by the way, consider oh, saving the pawn is sensible too. So here, so that if this is met with that, if you check, I come back. If you go like this, we could make a draw already. There's also a case to be made for bishop c4, trying to make it more difficult for the knight to develop, but it does absolutely nothing because after this he can attack me or do this defended by the rook. So I'm expecting rook e7. He doesn't. So now I can activate my king and maybe there's something for me. I mean, this shouldn't be anything special. So I can do this, but is this forcing a weakness? I'm not quite sure yet. Is it annoying that you can come in with a check? Oh, it is. So do I have to go for this so that after I can just... Yeah, I think I have to. And this is a pin, but it's not really exploitable because I always have bishop e6. The only weird move you can try is maybe knight d5. That shouldn't be a problem. I can just bring my king. Check is not really relevant. I don't know, and this looks like it wins a piece, but I can just... And after we trade rooks, this position should be dead. Yeah, that's your only try for something, but... Here, this... Oh, and then I block my bishop, which is quite a cool idea. Fair enough, so... Okay, this is a bit more tricky than I thought. So if this you can attack me, problem being that... But I can't just defend my rook, right? If I defend my rook, you go back, I can come back. I'm not scared of a draw if I do this. If you don't move your knight, I can just take. So this, you don't have a check, you just move. I can ask for a rook trade, which you shouldn't take, and then I'll be able to infiltrate and defend everything. Yeah, so my opponent can make a draw here if he wants, but he really shouldn't because, I mean, I'm 150 points lower rated than he is. So this is probably the most sensible move, but I can just ask for a rook trade and this should be a bland draw. After this I can take your knight. defending the rook, which is defended, so it doesn't actually matter. And I don't know, if anything, I should be the one playing for a win, except I'm completely outmatched in rating, but be confident. I did get a slightly preferable position already, but there's tricks, but now there really isn't. Like, this was a nice try, and I thought about this, but that would be annoying as well. So now I can just come back, and it's the same position. If he wants to make the draw, he can. Now, he does go for this. He trades the rooks, which I didn't really expect. I mean, first of all, how do you defend that? Yeah, so he has to defend it in a weird fashion. And I should try to isolate your pawns on light squares. So I think this is a very instructive move, trying to stop this. Which I can't really, but this is a time to be accurate. This really is a time to be accurate. Yeah, I don't know, let's just take. And my king is a bit more active. You can give me checks, but I don't really have weaknesses. Everything will just activate my king. And if my king gets more active than your king, that should be a problem. This is, by the way, a threat. Maybe I should have played that in the first place. I'm not sure. I mean, I can still play it. I can go for this. You don't really have a sensible check. This check does absolutely nothing. And I mean, yeah, so I just want to go somewhere where I attack this pawn and threaten to trade. If I'm accurate, I might be able to trade this into a winning king and pawn endgame, but if I take, you take back somehow, this looks like a dead draw. The only thing I can do is infiltrate and try to take. And I mean, how do you stop it? You have to find this, I think, but I have a pawn break, but you can't just ignore it. So I think this is the only move fighting for something. Then I can infiltrate and do this. And maybe I can actually try something here. Yeah, that's a good find. Now I will step out of every check while attacking this. If I force the pawn forward, it's a target. You already cannot defend it. And if anything, I am playing for a win here. And this is a massive threat. You'll have to move the knight or win this pawn. And then I have a passed pawn and the bishop for a knight. Also, I forced all of your pawns on the wrong color, so after this, that will be a threat. He's probably just going for counterplay with something like this, but you have to save the knight first. So let's see what he does. This is a losing move. Maybe h6 makes a lot of sense. To prevent you from going to g5, and if f5 ever happens, you just froze your pawn structure on light squares against the light square bishop, which is absolutely losing. And I think, by the way, that I should be winning in this position because of the pawns and this pawn. So he's going to lose this pawn for sure. And then your pawns are on the wrong color complex, so probably this makes sense to defend. And I am in no rush to take the b pawn. I can first make sure that you don't have any counterplay. And now it's a passive knight against a strong bishop. I'll take and play this endgame, but your knight is passively defending your left side, while my bishop can just be a threat and force something. So, okay, now he's threatening to do this. So I am in a rush to take this back fast. And if you go for check, I'll... this is annoying. So I'm thinking going for the pawn, you have to push. If I do this, you have to push, take, and why did I do that? Maybe this makes more sense, so I can go after the pawn, you have to push, I can go for the pawn here, take. And then I just have one passed pawn. I can... I mean, here... forcing this. Then I can go for this. Your king cannot do anything. And if you check me, I can go in here. And if you try to attack my pawn, I can always push it on a light square. So I don't think the move order actually matters. I'm controlling your knight sensibly well. I just have to stop your advancement. What you still do. I mean, I'll just freeze everything. I could push. I could push. Push. Knight in here. Take. Push. Are you in time with counterplay? Push. Take. Push is push, so bishop back. I think push. Bishop back. Knight check is takes. And you cannot push, so here take, I control this. I think this is losing. Yeah, I push and I can retreat my bishop. And my bishop will live here. And I have an extra passed pawn. How do you stop this? Your king is in the square. If you know the square, you know, but... Oh, that check. If takes, push... I'm screwed. So I have to move. I can move in here so that you don't have a check. But now this will be very annoying. I have to go here, you will push. I have to take, and push. Oh, I didn't think about that. Fair enough. So you don't have a threat. I can push. After this push, block. Yeah, I have to be a nuisance. So you're not threatening anything now? If this, I can always go here, and I think with the damage structure, it's worse. My opponent should have thought a bit longer about this, and you have to defend against my pawn. I'll push it, and I can just blockade your pawn and try to push my other passed pawn. And I think this should be losing. I can't remove your barricade, but my pawn is occupying a knight, so... And I can just move my bishop, move my king, push my pawn. You have to defend. Oh, now I don't even have to blockade you. How are you going to stop my pawn? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 moves. My plan is way faster. Oh, and that has to lose completely. Trying to take this so that your knight isn't occupied anymore is way too slow. No, that has to be way too slow. And if you do this, how are you going to stop me? Sacking the knight? Oh, that's smart. God damn it. Yeah, okay, this should be a draw now. Knight b2, if he can sack the knight for the pawn, it's a draw because I only have a bishop. So I have to barricade you. This should not be good. Now I have some opposition going. You cannot win this pawn, you know that, right? Now I'm winning these two pawns. Now he messed up again. That pawn is defended, sir. That pawn is defended, sir. Ew, fair enough. So, take, push, push with a check. Yeah, if I do this, you take. I have to take. It's a draw. If I push, if I take, you have to take. And this is actually losing for me, so I have to go for the draw. With king in here. You do have checks though. But I can always win this. So you have to take the pawn, I'll take the draw. There should be winning chances for me there. That was, yeah, I had one miss. I was winning, for sure. I don't know what I missed. Yeah, we just played at 90% accuracy. We just had a very good game, both of us. So he played what I dubbed the learnchess system. I know this is the best move. Take, and that's a bad move. If my course was out and he bought it, he would have played bishop c2, which is way better. I can just develop. Take is usually the best move, and I just develop. Castle to keep my king safe. I thought this was quite nice, but I should take with the pawn to fight for an advantage. And not be scared of takes and rook takes. After knight in here, this doesn't work, right? It does. Bishop takes. Oh, bishop takes. Pawn takes. I take a piece. You take a piece, but my rook is active and yours not. So I can take back and you just have a damaged structure and I have an active rook. Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, that's dumb. So now we went here, you're slightly better, this is all fine, that's the only move. Best move, I'm very happy I found this. Take, knight in here, this is the best move. This is fine. Take is the best move, this is also fine. Going the other way is better, but he will have to take, so it's the same position. And now we go for an endgame. I just don't want to let you activate your pieces, this was fine. That's the best move. You try something tricky and I find a great move. So the problem with this is that if I take, you take. That's the problem. So I wanted this position, but with bishop b6, so that he has to trade. And this is now not available. Which is a great find for my opponent, but I have this resource to defend, and now I'm threatening to take because this is defended. You have to go back. I can make a draw. You do not take the draw, and you are worse. Because bishop back, take, knight back. This is a mistake. I should have just activated my king. Yeah, so my idea was freezing this pawn, but actually I'm not freezing anything. If I attack, you still have this, so this doesn't make sense. I thought this was genius, and I'm just freezing the whole position on light squares, but I'm not. By the way, this probably results into a -2 position because you are actually freezing your weaknesses. Let's see. Big mistake? Yes, -3 even. And that's the power of positional play and endgames. Like, this looks logical, trying to freeze my pawn, but the only thing you're doing is actually making a backward pawn, making a weakness of the color of my bishop, and now you're just losing. So this slight mistake is horrible. So I want you to know that if you can freeze, if you're against a bishop knight endgame, and the higher you climb, the more endgames you will get, try to freeze the pawns on the color of your bishop, or if you have the knight, white, should try to freeze his pawns on the dark squares to try and make a draw. So that was a bad move because I'm not actually freezing anything, but that is not the continuation. After takes and takes, this is a great move, just activating. This is the best move, just activating. This is a mistake. I should... I don't know what this does. Why would I freeze a weakness on the color that he wants it to be on? Oh, because I'm threatening to take, and this is obviously a winning king and pawn endgame. So you have to go for this. I can now go in. You still have to defend, and how is this not a draw? We are making a draw now? Why are we making the draw? Hello? Yeah, but white can just make a draw. And we're just continuing? Okay, now we break out. Cool. So, but now we're in the same position again. I am very annoyed with the engine. Okay, this is the ID. Fair enough, fair enough. And now this... Nope. Why would we try to freeze it on light squares? No, I don't care. We are playing this. Which is an inaccuracy because he can freeze, but we have this. Why is this bad? Because we win a pawn. Disallow... Oh, maybe this is annoying. Oh, we didn't actually... Yeah, okay, this is winning. So he says it's losing, but it's completely winning. So after this pawn break, which accomplishes absolutely nothing, we can even take. This is a threat. Because, let's say, take and take. This is the square. Our king is not in the square, so we have to ignore. You can take, making a passed pawn, but we always control a square in it, so we don't care. We can push, we can push. He has to defend, after which we can not really push because he'll sack his knight, which is still winning for us. Check. Go here, he has to sack the knight, and now this is still winning. We're up a piece. I would blockade the pawn, which is a blunder. Wow, okay, so we have to defend, go here. This is... okay, we just allow all of this. Yeah, so okay. Our plan is not to blockade, because the king is too active to blockade. The plan is to make counterplay, make a passed pawn, and sacrifice our bishop for this pawn. So if he just continues, we will continue. After takes and takes, it's a draw again, because we cannot actually defend everything here. Yeah, this is tricky, but we're never losing, which is one thing. So we have to activate the pieces, and if he tries to go for something, we can probably break open already. Yeah, take, take. After this, we are active enough. We aren't, actually. Yeah, because our bishop always has to sacrifice himself, so we can only do... Oh, we can just push white defense, and after this we can sack the bishop. Yeah, the king is already out of the square. I don't know what I was thinking. And if you try to counterplay, we do not care. We will always sack the bishop is the point. Yeah, so it's tricky, but I would have figured that out. But I completely went for the wrong plan. Um, but I mean, it's still winning. So I had this idea just to try and force. That's a mistake. Best move, inaccurate. This is a mistake. Oh, again, we have an opportunity to freeze his structure on light squares. Why didn't I do this? Pawn break, we can just push. Yes. If you do this, we are totally winning. If this, we can just make a symmetrical structure with the weaknesses on light squares. The engine prefers this, probably to deactivate the knight, but I mean, we are in the middle of the board, so if you sack, we are only 3 squares away from queening. And now we will just slowly maneuver our king and our knight. I mean, what do you even do? Like, if you just move the king, we can give a check. We can now move our king up, which is still the... Oh, no, we just completely changed plans. We go for this, you have to defend. Now we can take, and this is... Yeah, I didn't see this idea. I should have seen my opportunity to freeze everything on light squares, and if this I don't have to react, I can just defend, keeping everything on light squares still. That was a big opportunity that I missed, so this is a mistake, but that's a blunder. So again, this is the best move. This is the best move. Now we go for this, and this is completely winning. Take, take, and that's a mistake. Great move, inaccuracy, inaccuracy, inaccuracy. Best move, 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 best move. Problem being that you can always sack your knight. This is trying to do something, but there is nothing here, and the best move is to do this, which I don't really understand. Maybe just... Yeah, okay, and I cannot defend. After takes, you can take, and this is a draw. Oh, this is disgusting. So, my final position was this, and I just had to take, deactivate. You can try to activate, push the pawn. You can blockade the pawn, and I can just check. You go here, and I can just sack my bishop. And this is a winning pawn endgame because I always take king here and push. I don't know why I tried to be this fancy. I could have just won a boring game instead of going for this complication. I should have thought about take. Like, how do you calculate? Take, take. If you go here, I can go here. If you try to act tough, I can just check you and you cannot really come forward. So you can go sideways, push, attack the pawn, push the pawn, attack the pawn. I can't really defend the... Oh, you cannot really attack, but you can attack like this. That's quite annoying. I calculated this whole sequence. Push the pawn. Try to attack the pawn. Now I have to give this check. I don't have to give this check. Push the pawn. Attack the pawn. And I just ignore. I calculated with this, which is not the best move because I can't really defend, but I'll win with this. And after your knight moves, if you sack your knight, you still have to move, and I'm able. I didn't see this ID. The promotion squares control I can always sack. Oh, that's so stupid. Yeah, okay, I just fumbled an endgame, but I would have won against a 2000 if I just saw this couple of endgame IDs, which I already know. And I want to know his peak rating, to be honest. Um, Almost 2100. Um, Literally 5 days ago, which is insane. So I hope you learned a lot. Don't be scared of high-rated opponents. Don't be scared of endgames. Learn endgames. I should learn my openings a bit better. I now know another line which I didn't know in the Lancrete system. But I play very well positional play, traded off my weakness, went for a very good plan. I wasn't scared of going to an endgame with a 2000 rated opponent, and he didn't one day draw, and now I'm in a very good endgame, but this is stupid. Bring the king, force his weaknesses on light squares, and I should have won this game easily. If I was just a little bit better at endgames and thought a bit longer at some positions. But I mean, we lose, we learn. Was a nice game. I hope you enjoyed and learned. Subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.